So good morning and welcome to everyone. I'm Anita. I'm a recruitment partner for Hastings Deering. So Hastings Deering is a cat dealer. Hastings Deering was established in 1932. We've been in operation for over 87 years, and we have been partnering with Caterpillar for around 70 years. We employ more than 3,500 people and cover 5 key territories, which include Queensland, Northern Territory, PNG, Solomon Islands, New Caledonia. Being a cat dealer, we basically are a dealership, so we provide the full end-to-end services when it comes to selling a wide range of different heavy machinery. We also provide rentals with heavy machinery, and then also parts and services is a huge part of our business. So progressing to mistakes during the recruitment process. So I'm just going to run through a couple of common mistakes that occur, I guess, during the recruitment process. So the first one is not loading all relevant documentation on the online application form in terms of not loading relevant documents that may be requested throughout the recruitment process, or not bringing them to the interviews. So this could include like your qualification, report cards, right to work in Australia. Another common mistake is a lack of research of the company. So what we find sometimes during the recruitment process, a candidate will most likely be asked what they know about the company that they're applying to. So quite often we receive responses from candidates who do not know anything about the organisation or the services that they offer, about the values. Sometimes we get responses like, I've applied for so many jobs, I can't remember this one. So as recruiters and I guess, even the hiring managers, we want to see that the candidate has a genuine interest in the role that they're applying for, and obviously the company as well. The next one is not turning up to interviews on times or appointments, a lack of enthusiasm and passion in the interview process. Students also and candidates sometimes provide really brief answers during the interview, or actually not answering their actual interview question itself. So tips for applying for jobs. So thoroughly reviewing the job advertisement before applying. So the key thing to remember when applying for any role, whether it's an apprenticeship or a graduate role, is to read the advertisement, maybe read the job description that was provided to you. So the ads will specifically specify what's involved in the role in terms of like the responsibilities, key requirements needed for the candidate. So if you ensure that your skills and experience match what the role's after, you'll be, one step closer to being shortlisted for an interview. And, obviously you will avoid that disappointment if you're not shortlisted. Tailor your application for the role and also for the company. So customize your resume and cover letter to be specific for the role and the company that you're actually applying for, and also just make sure that you proofread everything and just check it again if there's any grammatical errors or spelling mistakes. And showing that you've focused on the particulars of the job is one way to ensure a recruiter takes note as well. Prepare for the interview. So you can never be too prepared for an interview. Take your time to thoroughly research the company prior to the interview. This will not only help you to show the recruiter that you're interested in the role, but it will help you to decide if the company would be a good fit for you. So use this research time to also think of questions about the company and where your role fits. Asking questions can open up discussions with your interviewers that will then help you stand out. Review the job description if the recruiter has provided that as part of the recruitment process, and to make sure that you know exactly what you're interviewing for. As I mentioned previously, you'll get a better understanding if this role is a good fit for you and your experience. Consider examples of times where you have applied your skills and experience to the required skills listed in the job ad and the job description as well. So it's a good preparation tool for interviews. Provide previous examples when answering questions. So here at Hastings Deering, we interview based on the behavioural-based model. So behavioural interviewing is explaining, providing context around the situation, the actions that you took, and then sum up by defining the outcome or the results of that situation, and more specifically, summing up the actions that the results, I guess, that you were involved in terms of that specific example. Again, don't be discouraged if you don't get the job. For candidates and students, if you've been unsuccessful, don't be afraid to ask for feedback and work on how you can learn from the experience for your next application. Make sure to consider how you also interact when being told you are unsuccessful. If you are interested in the industry, in a particular industry or company, a poor reaction may impact your future opportunities. So, obviously make sure that you act in a professional manner. So moving on to aptitude testing and the process. So more employers are using aptitude assessments as a tool for volume recruitment, such as the apprenticeship graduate programs. It is actually nowadays common practice for aptitude assessment or testings to be part of the recruitment process as a shortlisting tool. So students, whether they're finishing school, graduates who are going into applying for graduate programs, they should be familiar with aptitude assessments. So aptitude assessments can be administered online or in person, such as through an assessment centre. Here at Hastings Deering, we've administered aptitude testing assessments both online, and historically we've also incorporated administering aptitude testing in person through our engagement centres. But just in terms of keeping up with the times, we have within our last couple of intakes been administering their online aptitude testing. Tips to prepare and complete online assessments. What you can advise your students is to just make sure that when they do complete online assessments, just to be in a quiet environment. That's obviously just to minimise distractions. So maybe, put your mobile phones away, just have the computer there, maybe close the door, so you're just minimising that distraction. Make sure you're well rested as well. Aptitude testing is timed. When you go through an aptitude testing process, quite often that is completing a variety of different aptitude testing. So like it could be your verbal, mathematical, and abstract or spatial reasoning all together in one go. Just make sure that you complete the assessments alone. The candidate itself is supposed to be completing the assessments. Be honest, and if you're completing the aptitude testing and there's a specific one that a specific question that you hang up on, maybe just move to the next one. So educate students on the interviewing process and technique. So prepare students for the interview process by conducting role plays and mock interviews. So you can teach students, I guess, on the science of behavioural interviewing. So you can maybe research up on that, develop strategies on how students and candidates can build on their confidence during the interview, and really show the passion and enthusiasm. So especially with our apprenticeship engagement centres, when we conduct the interviews, we have a lot of students who are very nervous, which is very understandable, but quite often we won't get a response from them. So just, building that confidence, and it's all right, it's all right to be nervous in interviews, but just coming up with strategies so they're able to provide, some form of response.